So there seem to be some tensions amongst MAGA representatives and some of Trump's top team picks. And now the Democrat media is running with the idea that there is a civil war breaking out amongst the MAGA base and their current leaders. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, so let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. I appreciate you being here, whether this is the first time you have clicked on one of my videos or you are a returning supporter. Please do me a couple favors, hit the thumbs up button, and also help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button now. And if you want to, you could turn on your notifications so that you never miss out on a conversation like the one we're about to have. So to say the least, there seems to be a bit of a disagreement happening on the right now, and it has sparked an online debate about one of this year's election's top issues, which is that of immigration. And while fires are being lit and tempers are flaring a little bit between some of Trump's team picks, the left is excitedly chomping at the bit, push the idea that the relationship between Trump and a couple of his top people are already falling apart.
Tonight, as President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for a widespread immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now, we're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers.
This is an important discussion because there are a lot of aspects to it. Subject of immigration overall, we know without a doubt that the open borders of the Biden-Harris administration has wreaked absolute havoc on this country over the last few years. We have violent Venezuelan gangs that are taking over apartment complexes in different cities. We have crime in places that have been declared as sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants. That crime has skyrocketed. And we're seeing a massive increase in horrific occurrences, like a couple that was captured and tortured by some of these gang members, and the woman who was set on fire in the New York City subway. And as bystanders walked by and did not help this person, the illegal immigrant that set this person on fire fanned the flames with his jacket. Obviously, if you are a moral individual with even a speck of critical thinking skills, there isn't even a debate about the fact that these people should be the first to be kicked out of the United States and sent straight back to wherever they came from. They do not belong here, and these people are not a problem that any of us should have to deal with. So if you're smart, this is not even a question. However, the bigger debate is, how do we handle everybody else? We do need to understand that this is a very complicated issue that is going to take some time to sort through. One of the things that makes it complicated is that America does have a lot of ways for people to come into this country legally, even if it is temporarily. There are all kinds of different application processes and visas that people can come here on. And when you have people in the US that are abusing these programs, it can be very complicated to sort through, figure out where the grounds truly are to kick somebody out of the country, as well as figuring out who should stay and what programs should remain in place. Now, the program that is currently at the center of these debates is the H-1B program. Put simply, it's a visa that can be offered to someone from another country who is highly educated and skilled in a particular area. And just for a little bit more of an understanding of what this program is, this is from the US Department of Labor. It says, the H-1B program applies to employers seeking to hire non-immigrant aliens as workers in specialty occupations or as fashion models of distinguished merit and ability. A specialty occupation is one that requires the application of a body of highly specialized knowledge and the attainment of at least a bachelor's degree or equivalent. The intent of the H-1B provisions is to help employers who cannot otherwise obtain needed business skills and abilities from the U.S. workforce by authorizing the temporary employment of qualified individuals who are not otherwise authorized to work in the United States. The law establishes certain standards in order to protect similarly employed U.S. workers from being adversely affected by the employment of the non-immigrant workers, as well as to protect the H-1B non-immigrant workers. Employers must attest to the Department of Labor that they will pay wages to the H-1B non-immigrant workers that are at least equal to the actual wage paid by the employer to other workers with similar experience and qualifications for the job in question, or the prevailing wage for the occupation in the area of intended intended employment, whichever is greater. So a couple of key points from that: there does have to be a specific level of education obtained. They do have to be skilled in specific areas. And this is to help employers who cannot otherwise obtain these needed business skills and abilities from the US workforce. So they can authorize someone who does not have US citizenship to work in that position, and they don't necessarily have to have another kind of immigration visa or status in the works. Also, employers have to pay the H-1B non-immigrant worker the same wage that an equally educated and skilled American citizen would make in that same position. So employers are not supposed to be abusing this system to fill these positions with immigrants for the sake of paying them less. The key idea here is that they're not supposed to be doing that, but the system is being abused for the purpose of hiring non-citizens so that employers can pay them less, and that's only part of the problem. For a little background, it is my understanding that this program was implemented in the 90s, and there are about 65,000 of these visas available on a yearly basis, as all of our visa programs have a cap on them, so that we can make sure that we're providing opportunities for people who come and live here to live and work. So we're also prioritizing the needs of our own citizens and not hindering their access to resources, housing, and jobs. Anyway, as far as what people are fighting about, along with the myriad of challenges that this issue entails, I'm going to do my best to bring in every point briefly and simply. So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy seem to be arguing in favor of the H-1B program on the basis that we do not have enough smart, educated, driven Americans to fill crucial roles like engineering, tech, and architecture, to just name a few. According to a couple of posts by Elon on X, he wants to continue this program to bring the best of the best into these fields, regardless of their country, to fill these elite jobs in America, and Vivek Ramaswamy seems to agree with that sentiment. First, I don't think it should surprise anybody that Elon and Vivek would be in favor of something like that, as they both have tech backgrounds, and I think there's room to speculate that their backgrounds might be influencing their views on this subject, but I don't think that's all it is, which I will get into in a minute. Well, many seem to be accusing Elon of switching his views on illegal immigration and trying to push the Trump administration into continuing on with the Biden-Harris's America Last policies. We can look at a couple of the things that he has said and deduce whether or not that's the point he's trying to make. So in response to a tweet by somebody named Kazan Asidu, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but Kazan says, "People seem to be missing the fact that you're asserting that it's elite engineering talent that we have a shortage of in America," to which Elon Musk responded and said, "Maybe this is a helpful clarification. I'm referring to bringing in via legal immigration the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. This is like bringing in the Jokic's or Wembys of the world to help your whole team, which is mostly Americans, win the NBA. Thinking of America as a pro sports team that has been winning for a long time and wants to keep winning is the right mental construct." Another one of Elon's tweets says the H-1B program should be reserved for people who would address an important shortfall of domestic expertise. There is some degree of fraud and considerable incompetence in every government program, and H-1B is no exception. That fraud and incompetence needs to be fixed throughout the government. And Vivek Ramaswamy seems to be echoing some of these same sentiments. And this is a very long tweet that he put out there, but I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just to get an idea of what he's talking about, he says, "The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth, which is our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent, and if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us, rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing bringing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. I'm confident we can do it. So what I'm getting from all of that is that they are not flipping their positions on illegal immigration, and they are not putting America last, but they're recognizing the fact that the American education system and our culture has ultimately fostered generations of workers where our priorities have been steered away from hard work and striving for excellence, and instead we celebrate mediocrity and praise people for being the best at accomplishing nothing. Like, if someone is successful on TikTok, people envy that. It doesn't matter what their content is about. If they gain a large following and they earn a paycheck, they are who these next generations look up to. They're not admiring engineers, doctors, and lawyers. They want to find out who's creating the next niche in content creation and figure out how to do that too. How are we going to keep America competitive on the world stage with a culture that doesn't think the things that would make us competitive are actually worth pursuing? Things that Gen Z often refer to as modern day slavery. In fact, these upcoming young adults hate America, so why would they do anything to make it stronger and better? So I get what they're saying, and honestly, I don't think that they're arguing in favor of the H-1B program specifically. They're just trying to get society to acknowledge the mess that has been created by this failing education system and to understand the widespread consequences that have been caused by the intentional indoctrination of leftist activists who have worked to foster this generation of young people who want to do absolutely nothing so that America won't be able to stand on its own. The thing is, if we can acknowledge these hard truths, then we can correct course. And both of them have acknowledged that the H-1B program needs to be gutted and it needs to stop being abused. This is a tweet by Vivek. He says, "I've long said that the current H-1B system is badly broken and needs to be gutted. It shouldn't be used as a lottery. It should be based on pure merit. It shouldn't tether workers to just one corporation. Same principles I favor today." It's not the only way that the program needs to be improved. As I said earlier, the program itself says that the criteria for getting this visa is very specific. It's supposed to be based on skills and level of education of specific individuals who meet a very high standard in a very specific field, and that the non-citizens who are given these visas and these jobs need to be paid the same wage as an American citizen of equal education and skill level. It seems as though this program and other work visa programs are being abused, as there are countless examples of American citizens who are being denied jobs due to diversity quotas or being forced to train their own replacements so that the company they work for can hire a non-citizen at a lower wage. And this tweet by a woman named Bindu Reddy, she kind of sums up this whole thing. She says, "This is true. H-1B visas have been abused quite extensively. Only a small percent are getting issued to elite talent. Most of them are being issued to consulting positions that are simply looking for cheap labor. We need to prevent the abuse, not totally cancel merit-based immigration." And both Elon and Vivek have said that this program does need to be cleaned up. So I do think it's a dishonest argument to make that they want to continue to put America last, as the Biden administration has done, or that they're flipping their positions in any way. I think what they want to do is to discuss the current problem that we have, which is that we might not have enough of our own highly educated and motivated young Americans to fill these elite jobs. And we do need to fill them if we want to stay competitive, while we course correct and improve the values and education of our own people so that we're not using it out of necessity, and to also nip it in the bud where it's being abused by any business who just wants to pay low wages. And there's one more area that we do need to discuss really quick that is particularly problematic when it comes to how young Americans value work. And we need to address it if we truly want our own citizens to be the ones that make up the majority of jobs in our own country. As we're seeing companies use these visa programs to outsource work and undercut wages, they might also be doing it more and more because today's young adults do not want to do a lot of these jobs. And it's largely because we're not teaching them that they're important. This was a video posted by a young lady who actually works in construction, and this is what she had to say about this issue.
A fourth of construction workers are illegal in the US, and over 60% are illegal in Texas alone. Only 16% of kids are considering trades, but 79% of parents are dead set on sending their kids to college. For every 5 trades worker that retires, only 2 younger trades workers are filling their jobs. Schools got rid of shop class and recently put CTE in schools, which is not the same and does not give the same learning opportunities and is also kind of limited. There's a significant issue in America where we're claiming that only Americans should fill trade jobs, which makes sense. But we're failing to educate the youth about the value and importance of these careers in general. The current cultural mindset has unfortunately devalued these professions almost completely, leading many to believe that skilled trades are beneath them. This has resulted in complaints about immigrants taking these jobs en masse, even though many Americans have been dissuaded from pursuing them. But we can't just assert that there are enough Americans for these roles without addressing the underlying educational and woke mindset that pollutes the youth in general. I'm committed to posting and to bringing action to this because I want America to thrive and I want Americans to be working the trades. But just because you're saying there's enough Americans to replace the retiring Americans from the trades doesn't mean there is. And without change, it's only going to get worse.
So as you can see, we have a bigger problem than just whether or not to allow immigrants to have these jobs and to fill these positions. Interestingly, while Democrats focus on illegal immigration by saying that if we start deporting these people, they're going to lose their gardener and they're going to lose their maid and their cook, basically putting it out there that Americans are too good for these things. But they might be partially correct on that, because without these people from other countries willing to get their hands dirty and put in a full day's work, do we have enough of our own people, specifically in these next generations, willing to fill these roles? Because I'm not sure that we do. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm changing my mind on whether or not deportations should happen, because still, in my mind, if you're here illegally and you have not gone through the immigration process, or you have deportation orders that you have ignored, then you need to go home. But my question, and I think what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are wondering, is that if we don't allow enough of these jobs to be filled by people who are willing to do them until we can get our own next generation of young Americans to fill them, then are we going to be able to survive? We have a lot of work to do culturally in our value system, in our education system. And I have to say, I do worry about what it's going to look like when we pull the rug out from under everyone by sending all of these people back and then telling young Americans that if they want their country to function, then they better roll up their sleeves, because I'm just not sure that they're going to do it. It has taken decades for us to end up in the mess that we are in, and it's going to take a while to get out of it. But that's all I have on this subject matter today. I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me in the algorithm, help me to grow this channel, and hit that subscribe button now. If you would like to buy me a coffee, that link is in the pinned comment in the comment section as well. And there are other ways to support my channel in the description box. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.